I have been quiet this whole time, so me talking has been nothing. I just now noticed that I had the volume off. Microphone, okay, and it's using my USB headset, okay. So even though I plugged that in the middle time, okay, then on my checklist, all right, prep slides, copy last week's presentation, change copy of date, add in the next week's topic, just did that, change heading of this week, quips, call to action. Okay, review any answers. Did that. Share next week's links. Well, I don't plan to do that. Promote Flora Florum. I don't do that yet. Idea to chew on. Replace slides with something I'm not doing right now. Practice what to draw. I want to do that too. That's another thing. But I'm not doing that. Prep day. To-do list. Okay. So that's something I can do as well. But let's go ahead and get ready for next week. So 2 weeks out. So I've got July 16th and July 23rd. So the next one's going to be July 30th. And we're going to make that at 9 a.m. And we're going to make it 1 hour. All right, so we've got here deep work with Carl Newport, efficiency and chaos. I kind of want to have a discussion about Enneagrams because that's a book I'm listening to right now. But my concern about that is that I just don't know how to have like a reasonable conversation with anyone else about that. Oh, hi, Gwen.
Oh, there's not many people today.
It's currently you and I, and that might be because I've been sort of falling off on getting things ready ahead of time. But yeah, I usually don't. I'm not too worried about how many people show up. I just kind of come to make it happen. Okay. I hope you know that you went mute.
Yes, I'm eating.
Oh, that's great. All right, well, I'll let you eat, and then when you're ready, just tune in, and we'll start a conversation here. In the meantime, I'm getting some stuff ready for next time. Future, past, and present. Okay. Got that there. July 30th. I'm just about done with this other thing, so I'm going to finish it up. Okay. And then I'll jump into my intro and give a whole talky talk. How do you currently pick your, okay. So okay. Not really impressed with the questions I'm coming up with. Feel like they could be a lot better. July 30th. Okay. Ah. Okay. Okay, so that is done. Okay. And then oh, you know what I didn't do is I didn't put in next week's stuff, which is going to be LinkedIn. Optimizing. Okay. All right. All right. So that's going to go right in. Nope. June. Wow. I haven't updated that in a while. Okay. That's next week. All right. Well, Gwen, what I've been doing while the time has been passing is I was getting ready for next week. So this is welcome to Friday Flow. We've got some things going on here. So that is notes from last time. So I'm not going to worry about that. That is so the way this goes is we've got it live on YouTube right now. I've been chatting to myself, to the audience, if there is any, which I'm not really focused on right now. It's more just working through the processes of seeing how it all works. And then during, like, what I do is I try to create a space that people can come and engage challenges, attend at whim. I create some connections if they want, especially connecting stuff to their business topic. So this is all kind of low maintenance for me. I just sort of dabble through it and see what kind of space I can create and see what other people can learn with me. We're going to do the attendee greeting, post on the chat in order. Well, if anyone else shows up, that'll be something helpful. And open discussion loosely on the topic. And here we go. Welcome to Adam's Friday Flow. We've got the topic today is going to be something about how you pick your help for your business. No one gave any responses on the meetup. So what we'll start off with is doing our intros. And what you do is post on the chat your particular intro. If you have a location, an actual site, push the http://www, whatever the thing is. That way I can click on it when it comes time. So I'm going to click on this guy here and open a hyperlink. And then I'm going to switch my share. Did it open up somewhere? Where did it open up at? I'll have to check if I actually got it to open somewhere. No, that's not it. Nope. Nope, it didn't open there. What's the deal? So I right click on it and I say open hyperlink. There it goes. All right, so I'm going to new share. Oh, my folder's over here. So I've got this guy here. Bam. Now, one of the reasons all this stuff that I'm kind of boppling through it's been kind of nice for other folks who have come in and just learning how to get on the web and use these different tools, because it's given them space to kind of play around with other people and get to know it. I am not the most smooth at it yet, and perhaps one day I will be, but right now, this is one of the things I work on, is helping people get flow going when they're working on their business or whatever it is they're doing. So you can see I work with tools. I can work with your pantry or your kitchen, basically, and any office space. And so that's the cool thing. Looks like I've got a media person, and this little click-on thingy was different before. So what does this say? Call, free discovery call. Do you want to optimize your life by being better organized and by utilizing systems that work for you? Let's talk. During this call, we will size up your organizational flow goals, and if we decide to work together, determine next steps. There we go. It's not exactly how I'd word it, but she's doing something there. So there used to be one that I really liked that she had up here. It had a bicycle in it, because I really like bikes. This is all stuff I posted before I got her on board, and this is kind of the stuff I do. So this is my old website. I say old because I have a new one being built, but this is just came with when I signed up for Google Business. It sure opened up. So that's the kind of stuff I do. I have you call and we can talk about how your flow is working and how I can help with that. Are you available, Gwen? Is this a good time? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hear me?
Yeah.
So, I work in hospitality, short-term rentals,
Mm-hmm.
and problems is retention of the cleaners and the handyman
Oh yeah.
service people.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard a lot of shortage with cleaners and handymen. So some people kind of like when I come in, as you can see in my background, I can be handy, but a lot of people are sometimes looking for that. And it's like, well, it's not quite what I do. So, but I've heard it a lot. So that's really interesting. Are there any methods that you currently use in order to get those folks? And how is it changing and as in not working anymore?
I use platforms like TaskRabbit and labor talent platforms.
Yeah.
But the people are they just care about getting it done quickly, not so much about being thorough like a hotel would be.
Yeah.
And even if you I mean, unless you're having them full time, they're not going to give you the dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to do the minor touch ups after them.
Yeah. That kind of
Making fingerprints on the wall or the door and all that.
ah. So in your search for assistance at the moment, you've found that there's a lot of inconsistency in the people you're getting. So you contract out then?
Yes.
Okay, instead of doing employees. So have you thought about doing employees?
Because it's vacation rentals, it's seasonal.
Uh-huh.
I can't afford them full time. year round.
Uh-huh. So have you thought about doing teachers, like talking to some teachers and seeing if they would like to do that?
Um, well, if they're online teachers, maybe, but the consistent people are like essential workers,
Uh-huh. What do you mean by that?
medical staff, physicians, nurses, um, um, construction workers, or
So th
um,
those are folks that are you often find on TaskRabbit?
no, I mean in terms of my short-term rentals. In TaskRabbit,
Oh, I see.
mean in the labor, um, it all varies on their schedule. They don't want the people they're trying to balance a work life. Maybe they have other family responsibilities, so they want a flexible schedule.
Yeah. So, you've basically just gone on TaskRabbit and seen what they have to offer and
Yes.
who's willing to do that. And you plan to stay with contract work as opposed to hiring somebody because about um you're concerned about them actually um having the time for you.
Well, it's also depending on my location
Yeah.
and business. Um, there might not be enough work for them year round.
Yeah. So you say depending on your location, so you're in more than one place?
Yes,
So you're across the country or across the city?
across the state. So it might be between San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that's 400 miles distance.
Yeah. That's pretty intense. And so following up on all that is quite a bit of work, I bet.
Mm.
Have you become part of like a chamber of commerce that like I know we have Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we have an Oriental Chamber of Commerce, we have Green Chamber of Commerce, we have City of Albuquerque Chamber of Commerce. There's like all these different groups. Um, and have you checked into anything like that?
There's a lodging innkeepers group,
Yeah.
and we share information resources.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And they're out there, they're having a hard time with that. You've already checked with them about getting help and that sort of thing?
Um, yeah, unless you can afford to have them stay on site,
Yeah.
which reduces your profit by 40%.
Wow.
So because it's too small of a site, it might be only 2 units. It's not like a hotel. They might have like hundreds of units to justify one person staying on site. But if you're too
Yeah.
small, it eats into your cost of doing business, or there's no profit margin. In other words.
Yeah. Wow. So you got this weird spot where you're at where you're small enough. Um, I'm not too sure why you want to be small, but you're small. You're small, but you're not big enough to really have someone on. So, is there a reason you're staying small?
I can't afford the capital cost.
Okay.
Hotel is a lot of capital cost.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not pushing to get big. I was just curious if you had more of a reason, like if you're intentionally doing that. But no, it's more about the capital. Okay. So that so you're small enough right now that you're able to afford having that space. But then you're at a tight spot because in order to maintain it, you're trying to figure out people who can help in there. So is there in this lodging group, is there a way of finding other people the same size as you? And possibly being able to share across that way?
They tend to be larger. They tend to
Oh,
be like 10 rooms.
okay. And there's no, they don't have a way of breaking that down or for a way of you finding that out easily, huh?
Um, you can email, massive email, and
Yeah.
um, but
I've
it
got,
it, it needs to be maybe maybe close to um 80 rooms to justify a full-time person.
yeah, I bet. So this is my daughter wants to say hi. Hey there. So this is you can't see her. It's just us. See, there we are. She's on there, but I only hear her. Okay. She's on there. Yeah. They're not here today. It's just me and Gwen for right now. Yeah. Yep. All right. Bye bye. So that was my little daughter. Um, she was curious because she heard me talking in another room with somebody. So about 80 rooms, and so you only have about 10 rooms, you say, or how many rooms do you have?
3.
You're a ways off then from justifying it, then, huh?
Yeah.
80 rooms, and you're spread out over 400 miles. Oh wait, is your location? You have one location, and you're 400 miles from it. Is that what it is, or
Multiple locations.
okay? So you've got these rooms. You've got 3 rooms over a 400 miles distance, or each place has about 3 rooms.
Each place has about 3 rooms.
Okay.
So you really have to do a combination of midterm, which is like 6 months, and short term, 1 week. You kind of have to play with different market segments, and so that takes a lot of coordination and someone who knows how to deal with pricing and technical stuff about the industry, seasonality.
Yeah. So you're talking about your help, or you're talking about what you do?
Oh, sorry. Um, what I do.
Yeah. Because I was starting to think that, but so, and having these other people come in and do. Have you ever worked with like a local company that, like we have Molly Maids here, and there's like a sustainability group and that sort of stuff. Have you ever worked with one of those?
Yeah, it's fine. Unless you're like a certain kind of retainer, monthly, yearly, you're gonna pay retail prices or
Okay, so it's
$60 or more an hour.
yeah, per person, huh?
Yes.
And I have you ever figured out whether that the amount of time you put into things, because your time is at least worth $50, right? That's the common thing. If you're the business owner, your time is worth at least $50, and probably more depending on the situation. But if you spend a couple hours having to go back in and follow up on people, would it be a savings for you to have someone else do that would be more thorough?
Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard question. How have you calculated this out as far as your time and the amount of hiring folks?
um, it's fine if it's a place that's year round.
Uh-huh.
Um, but if it's a seasonal, remote place away from the urban area, it has only one use, which is tourism,
Mm-hmm.
compared to maybe something that's more like in the suburbs near the urban city. So it could be multiple use functions, such as long-term tenant who has a permanent job living there, or it could be used for tourism customers, or other use compared to the one use in the vacation place.
Okay. So, but with the help, then how do you calculate your time versus their time? So, when you budget for help, how do you figure out how much budget you have for the help?
Um, Percentage of the booking.
Okay. And so, okay, that's pretty okay. So you figure out if you have someone showing up, how much of the booking price do you have to have someone else come back in and clean up after them?
Mm-hmm.
And so that doesn't usually equal $60 per hour um, with cleaning companies. And so you're able to get people on TaskRabbit for less. About how much is it from someone like on TaskRabbit? It's not $60 an hour.
Um, it's about the same. Um, but the quality varies. That's the
Yeah.
downside. So this is
So
really a backup,
the TaskRabbit,
secondary. Yeah, it's secondary
so you,
after the contract house cleaning company. This is
oh,
a secondary backup.
and is there just a shortage in cleaning the is there a shortage in the cleaning companies then? Is that what's going on or?
Um, yeah, and the handyman.
Okay. Um, huh. Well, so that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure I totally follow what you're saying, as far as like how you're getting the help and where the problem, where the real dearth of people is. So the sounds like you usually go with cleaning companies, but there's not availability right now. So you go into TaskRabbit to find folks, usually.
Yes.
Okay. And okay, well that's and handyman too, huh? So yeah, that would be yeah, and they're hard to find because they all have different qualities in that. Wow. So you do anything like with marketing or with because for me that's the big thing. I've got contract versus employee, And like with my assistants, so I go in and I organize places, and I have someone who's working with me right now, and there's also other organizers in the area, and we collaborate. And so sometimes we'll work together, and then the particular person will just hire us separately, and we'll work together. And so, but then there's also with this one employee or contract lady that I've got, she's not employee. I've been trying to decide whether to make her like a full-time employee or not, because she's helpful, but I also only have her on once a week. And then I also have people for marketing, insurance. I'm working on figuring that out, like how to find the right insurance person and how that matters. I've got a guy already, but I'm not too sure I'm really happy with working with him. And then I'm not too sure how important that is, like that I need to be happy with my insurance guy or not. And then other people have other personal growth stuff, but also automated, like CRMs and things like that. So how much of this can I automate, and how much of this is actually going to be something that someone else is going to provide for me? And those are the kind of the other questions that I've kind of looking into. And you add on there things like handyman and cleaners, and the things that are really the limits you've got that are constraining you are the percentage of income for these, for the help. But I also wonder if flipping that over and seeing like where you're going to go with it would make a difference. So trying to figure out like how much you want to invest in something like that, and to make a difference, and like, you know, build up the ratings and things, because that's the other limit, is like the ratings you're going to have. I'm assuming you have a place that you're registered at where your ratings will go up and down.
Yeah, like Airbnb.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. So my dad has a place that he's also going, and I forget which company he's going through for that. I don't think he's doing Airbnb, but like you've got these something for just professionals in particular. And yeah, and so have they given you any feedback on there of like what they think of the cleaning job or anything like that? The maintenance.
You have to pay them more than retail in order for them to be comprehensive and because when hotel is much more details than a long-term permanent tenant.
Yeah. So wait, so say that last part again. What's longer than a permanent tenant?
Well, you have to take care of you have to you're providing the utilities, you know, the internet and any problems you're fixing it. Whereas the long-term tenant, they have to they provide they you know pay for their own utilities and clean their place. You're not responsible for that. So it's 3 times more work than in the long-term tenant
Yeah.
running
But
a hotel.
and then you charge more too then, right? For the
Yeah, but then you have to know you need about 80% booking throughout the year. I mean overall, because
Yeah.
if your place is very seasonal,
Yeah.
a tourist place, then you have to have uh, financial endurance for the slow times, or you have another type of customer that's going to occupy them during the slow season and bring you some income.
Yeah. So have you played with charging more in order to um, pay for the help, or is it not it's not so much paying for the help as finding the help? I'm getting a mixed signal on that. Is it hard to tell?
Well, yeah, if you're willing to pay close to $90 an hour, yes, you can find, and with a retainer,
Yeah,
yearly retainer.
that sounds like that helps.
But
Um,
that's almost like have a permanent a permanent worker.
yeah, boy.
While you take on the risk of not knowing on your seasonal business how much income you will bring in because of the, it's a vacation. It's only one purpose, a vacation place.
Yeah. So so retainer is like one of these things that you're not doing right now because you don't think you're going to make enough to have that person on.
Yes.
Hmm. Well, that's um so if what have you played with the idea of charging more for your rentals so that you have more money in order to, you know, get someone who's going to be more consistent, and then possibly that free up your time and energies to grow your business?
That will be great if they were virtual. The online virtual, you can scale up, but when things are on site, you got labor laws and um, supply. Um, it's the practicality is more different when it's you have to be localized.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what you're saying with the difference between virtual. You mean your clients being virtual or your business being virtual?
If your business was virtual,
Oh.
you can scale up easily.
Yeah, I mean, do you plan? I guess I can see how what your argument there. If you're just virtual, there's easy ways to do that. But I'm asking, in the case of owning buildings, do you plan to have more buildings? You say capital is your limit right now. It's not. Do you desire to have more buildings and more rentals?
Um, no, because it takes so long to um, accumulate the capital. Yeah, and it's no, I don't plan to.
Okay, so you like the size you have right now, so you're not planning to go up more. Um, but also one of the things I'm hearing you say a couple times is that you're what's limiting you isn't so much what you want to do, it's more about the amount of capital, um, which is something that may or may not be something you can grow or shrink. So the one of the things I'm going to point out that I think would be important for you to think about is what is actually like the thing you're after. Um, and this isn't so much financial advice because I'm not that's not my space. It's more about as far as what's driving your business and driving what you do. So if the reason that you're not growing is simply because you don't have enough capital, and then you keep on focusing on the details of the capital right here, I'd encourage you to kind of think about where you actually want to go with what you're doing. Like, do you want a bigger business? And if you do, what's the reason for all of it? And if you want to keep the same size business, what's your reason for that? And one of the reasons that could be really important is because if you know what your kind of aim is in your business, you're also going to be able to work with these contract workers that you want to have, like your handyman and your cleaning people, in order to connect with them on the level of like, why are we doing what we're doing? And as opposed to, oh, it's just about money, then you're going to have less connection with these people. And then the quality, I think, is going to go down because there's not, unless you just happen to get someone who really has a real desire to do a great job cleaning or handymanning. It's a suggestion because I find that you can find better people for what you're doing if you connect on the same level. There's a lot of times I've worked for employers that I didn't understand what they were after, so I didn't have a lot of drive to work with them. Whereas if I've got people that like I know really have kind of a really neat outlook on what they're doing, then I really enjoy working with them, and I try to give them more because we have a shared sort of view on what we're going for. So you're thinking about not getting bigger largely because of the capital, right? What is the reason that you're doing this business? Is it just to make money, or is there more to it?
Initially, I thought it was. I didn't think it was that difficult, but it is.
Yeah.
I think my one possibility is like a timeshare with several other people to use the vacation.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're talking about another
Customer segment.
another, yeah, different money format. What I'm pushing for is further beyond that. Like, what's the quest? What's the reason you're doing any of this? Why did you choose to go into these things as opposed to, well, even not opposed to, why did you just, why is it that you decided to go into retail or into rental?
Um, I thought it would be a way to uh, a full-time income.
And then what did you want the full-time income for?
Um, so that I would have more time more ability to travel and time flexibility in my life.
Cool. And what did you want the travel and the time flexibility for?
Um, kind of growth and freedom, personal growth and freedom.
Yeah. So you wanted the freedom for its own sake, or is there something more you wanted the freedom for?
Oh, not be geographic limited by my uh local economy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it sounds like what's happening is with your business here is it's kind of having the reverse effect that's really tying you down.
yeah, when you buy a real estate, like residential, you're
Yeah.
keeping it for depending on what section of the country you are. You keep it for 7 to 10 years.
Uh-huh.
So it's a long-term investment. It's not really flipping because all the cost of acquisition,
Yeah.
um, the transfer, taxes, and acquisition of the
Yeah.
property. So you're gonna, keep it for 10 years.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is not so much that you want to stay committed to the property as owning it. That I mean, you can own property across the world, and it won't mean you have to be there. It's more about my question of, it sounds like you have to go and double check on these people that are doing the work, and you have to like continue to head out across the state and just go to these locations. Um, and so, as opposed to being able to travel and go wherever you want, you can keep on having to go back to these locations, and it's eating up a lot of time and resources for you and having the opposite effect than the freedom, unless you're thinking that it's going to pay off later. But the reason I bring this up is because I'm thinking in my head is possibly uh, there's, and this probably would cost a bit too, and trying to figure out where the profit's going to be, but having property managers that are in those locations, that they don't have to focus on your property because they have a lot of property managers, so they like just little bits, and they can just stop in, and then that might be able to free you up to actually do this travel thing. Are you talking about more the freedom and stuff now, or are you thinking 10 years down the road being able to have the travel?
Um, hmm.
Those are I'm just pushing those questions because it's really easy to get stuck when we're looking for help and we're looking for other things. It's easy to stuck in the details of the moment instead, looking at the problem in a different way, in order to get the things we actually want in life. Like you mentioned, freedom and being able to travel, and I'm there's usually more than just those two things, right? There's a lot more things in your world that are the things you actually want to get to. And so these tools, having your own business or having your own real estate, those are things that are supposed to like sort of grease the wheels in order to get the other stuff you want. And they may actually be the thing that you actually want might be in the business itself. Like I really like interacting with people like you, Gwen, and that's one of the reasons I like this business that I'm starting, is because it in itself gets to these juicy desired outcomes that I want to do. And so finding out what those are might help out with honing your business to getting to what you want to have and creating that extra freedom you want. So we're coming to the time where I'm going to wrap up, and we've got what are we at here? Bum, bum, bum. Jumped around. Okay. So so the 10 seconds 10-second quest boost. That's what I'm calling it. That's fun. Anyway, I like I said, I just have fun with this. But what's something that you could think that I could do for you, that you could ask for, that I could get done in 10 seconds that would help you moving forward on your quest, on what you wanting to do with your life and your time
Um,
and your business. So like for me, the 10-second thing is asking this question, because the more I find out about the people that are working with me and they're like meeting up with me, the more I can see how I can help them. And so having these 10-second quests is like, okay, so this is the direction they want to go, or this is a little thing I can do right now, which is really kind of cool. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Here's a few examples: like on your page, or learn about something. I could learn about something so that when we talk again, I'll be able to tell you something more about it.
hmm. Um, well, um, um, okay. Well, I was trying to find people who are willing to partner up, but some of them don't want the financial risk.
Yeah,
They just prefer to be a employee with a set amount of salary and pay check.
yeah.
Um,
So you're searching for a particular type of folk.
okay.
That's what it sounds like you're saying, is that you want people that are willing to jump on board with the financial risk, and that comes back to my reason of why. Because in order to do something like that, I mean, you're going to want to find people with an actual desire, something they're after in their life, and they recognize it. A lot of people don't really pay attention to what they want in life. They just sort of, like you said, they want a paycheck and they just kind of want to keep things normal. And that's using our system one part of our brain as opposed to our system two part of our brain. System one is that part of our brain that just continues to help us maintain and not use too much energy and keep going. Think of an orangutan, right? These are these huge beasts, these orangutan are, and yet they have little food they actually eat. They're not like your usual monkey, which is always jumping around grabbing food. They're really slow. They take their time. They pick up a little bit of food at a time. That's kind of how system one works. It doesn't want a lot of big change. It doesn't want a lot of risk. Where your system I'm not too sure if I said the right numbers. Anyway, the system 2, which is your executive functions, that's your conscious part, the only part you actually have access to that you can actually see, in a sense. You can see system 2 work, and that's what you identify with most. But there's actually this whole big system in the back of your head. And so the way you get the other part of your brain on board is you start figuring out what it is that you really are after, what's juicy. And so a lot of people like to just work in their system 1, which means there's no risk, there's nothing to really worry about. And so seeking out people that actually want to work in the executive part of their brain more of their life is going to be hard. But it's going to make it easier if you know what you're after. And so if they share your goals, they want to have freedom or whatever, or if you find something that they really want to have that lines up with that, that's going to be something that's going to really help your partnership actually blossom, and being able to connect people on that level instead of just on taking on risk for money. Because money in itself is, few people, I can't think of anybody that actually does money for money's sake. They get money for another reason. So that's my encouragement. That's my 10-second response for your partnership stuff. Is if you know more what you're after, it can help you find the right group of people that will also share that desire and possibly jump on board with you. But I hope that's helpful. And I really appreciate you coming, Gwen. It was good talking with you today. And you have a great week. Next week, we're going to talk about optimizing LinkedIn, because John Barney asked about that. So we'll talk about how we've been using LinkedIn. And I think it probably will line up with this a lot, finding people that have similar passions as you, and more than passion, like the part of their juice desired outcomes of what they're planning on doing in their life. And keep the sparks flowing.